On this edition of The Fifth Estate,
we're in Mont-Tremblant, Quebec, where we joined the search for Liam Toman.
I'd say like an hour went by where I didn't really see him.
after a day on the slopes and a night out, the 22-year-old from Whitby, Ontario, vanished.
I said, we need to talk to the police, we need to talk to the resort, like, you know, we don't know where he is, right?
Almost a year later, his disappearance remains a total mystery.
So that tower has a camera, but it's not very clear. You can't see this far.
We retrace Liam's steps with his mother and track down some of the last people to see him that February night.
No bad feeling.
Liam is super relaxed. He's just a chill guy.
His loved ones were surprised by the resort's response.
They want Tremblant to be seen as a fun place to go ski, and that's what they care about.
As the trail goes cold, speculation takes hold.
Something happened here that's criminal.
But the crucial question remains, what happened to Liam Toman?
I'm Marie-Maud Denis, host of Radio-Canada's Enquête. This is The Fifth Estate.
My name is Kathleen Toman. I'm coming from Boston Lake, Ontario, and I'm driving to Mont-Tremblant. My son, Liam Toman, has been missing since February 2nd. I'm back in Mont-Tremblant to spread awareness on Liam being missing and put the pieces together to find Liam and bring Liam home.
There was nothing to suggest that anything but fun lay ahead on Friday, January 31st last year. 3 friends, a road trip, and a weekend skiing. Most excited of all, Liam.
We're all excited to get there, just getting hyped for the hill.
The hill was Quebec's Mont-Tremblant. And after 5.5 hours on the road, these Whitby boys were ready to be wowed.
And then it just opens up, and then there's the hill with all the cabins on the side of it, and then the mountain just goes up. And it's a pretty big eye shock for us, because we don't see something like that very often.
After checking into their room at the Tour des Voyageurs, their vacation officially started.
That wasn't me. That was
Liam.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
So stoked for the first run, Liam even films his brand new skis.
Oh my God, that's swag.
When we were up at the top, he was like, "Oh, this is really nice." He was like, "Take a picture of that. Take a picture of me with the signs."
We went out to dinner at the pizzeria, and then we went to Lucille's, the bar, and just had a few drinks at the bar there. And then we left the bar around 11:30 p.m. And then I went to bed that night, and then Kyle and Liam went to the club that night.
Their destination, a local favorite, Le Petit Caribou.
We got in there, we hung out for a bit, we had a couple more drinks, and then kind of split up inside the bar. I'd say like an hour went by where I didn't really see him, and then the place started clearing up. I texted him like, "Oh, where are you?" And I didn't get a response. I was like, "Okay, I'm going back. I'm going back to the room now." I woke up around like 8 something. Right away, I texted Liam like, because I noticed he wasn't in the room. So I was like, "Where are you?"
The most likely scenario is he's probably met someone and he's gone to someone's room or house. And I can't reach him at the moment because I know his phone's dead or he's asleep.
We went out to ski, and I called him like once every hour. And then after a couple hours, I was calling him twice an hour. And I started calling him 3 times an hour, and like 20 calls later, we're like, okay, maybe something is up for sure.
I think we came back to the room around 4 p.m., wasn't in the room again. Then we went to dinner. So like that was kind of the time period where we started to get pretty concerned.
So that's when we contacted his stepbrother and we got in touch with his parents.
And then I get a call at, I think it was about 10 to 6.
Liam's father, Chris Toman, lives in Whitby, Ontario with his wife, Lara, Liam's stepmother.
And it was from Liam's stepbrother, Ryan. And he said, Kyle, I haven't heard from him in 13 hours. And so we're like, what?
Yeah,
You know?
so your initial response is like, what are you talking about, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was like, oh no. And then you were like, I got to call Kathleen, Liam's mom, and that was the next call because we knew something was wrong.
As soon as I saw that he was phoning me and not texting me, I knew right away something was wrong, and my heart sunk.
And then his dad made the decision. He wanted us to start telling the police.
I said, we need to talk to the police. We need to talk to the resort. Like, we don't know where he is, right?
And I just went straight to the hotel desk and went through the procedure of filing out a missing persons report.
We're on our way to Tremblant. Chris, Laura, his wife, and me got together. Chris and Laura drove, and I went with them.
And we were driving in a snowstorm. So that night had one of the worst storms. I couldn't believe how fast, but how long it felt as well.
We were in shock, and it was quiet at first, and then we were trying to figure out what's happening.
I was sitting in the front, and I remember, you had tears coming down your face. Because I know, and we've talked about this, is that the other scenario was, what if my boy is in the snow, cold and alone? And, that was the worst. That was the worst one. And I knew that was going through your mind, because I remember saying, do you want me to drive?
They arrive in the middle of the night, bracing themselves for the worst. That drive would not be Kathleen's last long night. She has spent nearly a year trying to find her son. We join her 4 months after Liam's disappearance to retrace his last known steps.
Can you walk us through what happened to Liam on this Saturday night here at Tremblant?
Yes.
So I think it starts here.
Yes, he, after the pizza with his buddies, he came with one of his buddies to the Central, and they went for a couple of shots, and then he moved on to the Caribou.
To the Petit Caribou, which is right there.
Correct.
It's about what time when they get to the Petit Caribou?
It was about 12.
And Liam is with one of his buddies.
Yes, one of his buddies. His other friend went back and went to sleep. He was tired from the ski day. Liam spent the rest of the night here till about 3, and he was kicked out of the Petit Caribou at 3 o'clock. And then I'm going to walk you the rest of the way as he went back to his hotel through the pathway that he went.
Okay, let's go.
So we know that he took this path and then down the main corridor here.
Okay.
We know that he was fully dressed appropriately for the weather. He had his ski jacket, hat, gloves, lined pants on. Straight right there, that's his hotel. Tour de Voyageur. Tower 2.
Building 2.
Correct.
That's where he's staying with his 2 friends.
Correct.
Who at this time are already in the hotel room.
Yes. So somewhere about here, he's talking to the people, and he's pointing to his hotel, asking, and Liam continues this way. He doesn't go into the door. So he goes down here, and the last spot is up in over here, and we lose sight.
And this is the very spot where Liam is seen.
last seen that we know of. There is one spot that's over across the road there where they've seen a shadow in surveillance, but they can't confirm 100% that's Liam. But we can go there.
Yeah, let's go. Show me, please.
Okay.
What was the weather like on that night?
It was minus 25, minus 30.
So
it was
fairly
very
cold.
cold, yeah. And it was a clear sky that night. This is
like the back of the hotel?
The back of the hotel. So then if you go back through here, which is very odd, this would be really awkward to go through in the deep snow. If you go back through here, this is the loading dock. I can't see this as a natural path somebody would go to.
But it's possible.
It is possible, yeah.
And you know, he tried to communicate sometime at the end of the night. Who did he write to, and what was he saying to whom?
So he was writing to Kyle, who was out with him at the bar, but he mistakenly wrote his dad, and he wrote, it sounds like, you know, yo, meet me outside. But then after that, he phoned his Kyle, and Kyle missed the call. His friend Kyle, who was here with him, because Kyle was already sleeping, so he missed the call. I think that he was gonna go somewhere and wanted Kyle to come with him. So this is where they saw a shadow. Up in here.
So it's right next to the village.
Yeah. So that tower has a camera, but it's not very clear. You can't see this far at all.
So if it was Liam's shadow, he was heading somewhere
up towards this way.
And what's there?
They're all chalet condos out there.
And that's been searched.
Yes. Well, they were sent emails, knocked on doors. We had roadblocks, handing out flyers.
And there were extensive searches here on the ground.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
And nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, there's a deer. Oh, look at that.
Right.
That's a good sign for us. Every time we see one like that, we think it's Liam telling us something.
Go, cherche.
Coming up, a community rallies.
He could have potentially tried to climb the hill.
And the resort minds its image.
They want Tremblant to be seen as a fun place to go ski, and that's what they care about.
After Liam's disappearance, the Sûreté du Québec, the SQ, searched for him for 12 days. This is a map of the ground covered. Foot patrols are in red, canine tracking in blue, and the search on horseback in pink. The purple shows the route taken by ATV and the yellow, the helicopter paths.
L'hélicoptère était quasiment dans mon salon tellement qu'elle était basse. Il cherchait avec des piquets 5 par 5 dans la neige partout. On les voyait sur des chevaux, sur les skidoo.
Residents who'd heard of Liam's disappearance felt compelled to help, like Sylvie Blais, who tried to rally support for the family.
Let's say for a minute that he wanted to go meet some other people at some after-bar party or something. Well, he could have potentially tried to climb the hill and go reach out to some of these lodging areas that you see on the top there. Go, cherche.
Yves Delvalet, owner of Mont-Tremblant Cruises, spent weeks looking for Liam.
Each morning, I go out and walk my dog for an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, even more. And I do it just about everywhere in the area. But from the moment I understood more about the whereabouts of this young Liam, I'm like, okay, why not aim my walks towards the potential area where he could have been maybe found, you know? Allez, cherche, up.
The police have a long list of questions. Where was he going? Who did he speak to? First, though, they need to build a profile of him. They start by questioning those closest to Liam.
So this is 8th grade. It was like 2016, 2015. There's Liam, there's me. I think we're like 13, 14 there. It is 7th grade.
After his parents, Shireen Kamisa is the person who knows Liam best.
Liam's my best friend. We've been friends for a really long time. We met when we were like just kids, maybe like 4 or 5 when we were at the park. And then we went to the same elementary school, the same high school.
Investigators want to know if anything made Liam especially vulnerable to going missing.
They were asking me like where me and Liam went to school, and then kind of like what we do for fun. And then they asked about like drugs, if like Liam had like any secrets, like if he was straight, which he is. There's no like financial stress that I saw from him. No drugs, like we never did anything like that. And he never told me about doing anything like that. And like he was good, like mentally. And on top of that, like going on a ski trip, like he was at like a happy, really good point in his life.
Just upstairs, just straight ahead.
His mother is also looking for signs that something wasn't right in his life.
And then, here's his boxes still from unpacking his computer setup. It's a small room, but he has a great view. Yes, there was many questions through the whole process of Liam's state of mind. Liam's state of mind was, he was in a great state of mind. First, he has finished his college for engineering electronics. He wanted to golf. He wanted to enjoy golfing for the summer, and he took it a bit longer before he found his job in what he went to school for.
He has no secret life.
No. I asked his friends after to see, you never know, right? I'm his mom. I do not believe he does, but I had to investigate and ask that. And none of his friends said he has a secret life.
The answers Kathleen seeks aren't in her son's belongings. Kathleen is back in Mont-Tremblant. She just met the investigators in charge of Liam's case.
What did you learn at the police station?
They do have a clue of an automobile that they're looking into. They do have some surveillance of this automobile.
Investigators have a lead. A white vehicle seen driving late at night. Experts are working to enhance the surveillance footage. Kathleen is heading to her next meeting with the private corporation that runs the ski resort.
What do you expect from this meeting? What is your goal in this meeting?
I haven't seen anything on their Facebook or any of their social medias, so I'd like to ask him about that, why it hasn't been out in their social medias.
That's a big question you have.
It's a big question for me, yes, and the family, yeah.
So Liam goes missing on February 2nd, and then on the 6th, I reached out to them and I asked if they could post something about Liam, and they said basically no, we're not gonna post anything.
Liam's friend Shireen is managing the family's social media, and she is angry at the resort.
I sent a little poster that I made on February 9th, 3 days later, and they again declined. I think I asked again and they continued to decline.
And why do you think they reacted that way?
They want Tremblant to be seen as a fun place to go ski, and that's what they care about. They don't care about Liam.
Tremblant resident Sylvie Blais agrees.
On était supposés se rencontrer près de la roche puis prendre une grande photo de groupe. On pensait qu'ici, là, ça aurait été plein de monde. C'est ce qui était souhaité. Liam, Toman, where are you?
For Liam's birthday in July, Sylvie Blais tried to gather employees for a group photo to offer the family. They planned to pose in front of this rock.
Puis personne personne qui est venue à la rencontre.
Puis pourquoi tu penses que personne ne s'est présenté?
Bien, je sais pas, ça démontre de la peur. Tu travailles pour une organisation, as-tu peur de perdre ta job?
And there's more. The message had been painted over, as was the one left higher up the mountain.
J'ai trouvé que ça manquait d'empathie. C'est un message d'amour, c'est un message, un cri du cœur d'une mère qui cherche son fils.
Our team had to leave Tremblant, but Kathleen stayed behind to meet with business people in the village.
What did you learn since this morning?
I'm trying to get some surveillance videos from some of the private owners, so I can better understand Liam's path when he left the caribou.
She also picked up a few promising leads.
So I met somebody who is management in the Marriott and helps me identify somebody who spoke to another person who spoke to Liam that evening.
I'll just take some notes here. So what's his first name? What's the first name you have?
Guillaume.
Guillaume?
I'm probably not pronouncing that right.
No, it's fine. Guillaume, yeah.
And he worked here. He's from France. He was a manager at the Marriott.
Where would he be now?
The Yukon.
In Yukon, okay.
We dig in, start looking for Guillaume, one of the last people to see Liam on the night he disappeared. Liam's father has another suggestion for us.
And there was one person that he talked to that was local, and Liam had talked to his girlfriend or fiancée, and so that person approached Liam and questioned him.
Chris Toman can't stop thinking about that incident and about the man we see here speaking with Liam.
So that made us think, did he tick somebody off?
Coming up, the spring thaw reveals buried clues and a whole set of new theories.
He had cash in his wallet, it was gone. Now it could have fallen out, somebody could have robbed him, we don't know.
Piecing together Liam's story leads us to Quebec City next. That's where we found Naila Dubé.
Naila, what were you doing at Tremblant at the beginning of last February?
I was working in a very high-volume restaurant, steakhouse, so people would come and spend and have a good time, which summarize what Tremblant is for most people, which is really just a place where you come, you enjoy skiing and the nightlife and restaurants that come with it.
The Tremblant Resort Association, one of the bodies that manages the resort, notified local businesses of Liam's disappearance by email.
They, after the whole picture of Liam, his age, and the information that the police gave, we add a little sentence at the end of the email stating to please do not initiate any proactive communication on the subject. Which is pretty shocking, I think.
And why do you think they asked the business employees not to talk proactively with the clientele?
I really do think that they tried to keep it down and to let it go under silence for their image and to keep a really safe reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Off camera, several other locals agreed that image appears to come first for the resort.
What did you make of that when you saw that after Liam's disappearance?
So to think that so many tourists were there and maybe saw something, but were not even made aware of the disappearance, and maybe someone would have saw something but didn't think much of it in the moment and just left the resort without ever talking about it.
Okay, so it's about here.
Yes, so March 22nd, Liam's wallet was found from the melting snow in this location.
Until now, the most likely scenario was that Liam got lost after leaving Le Petit Caribou and died of hypothermia not far away. But then, one of the resort's employees found Liam's wallet, and that changed everything.
When they found his wallet, they found his ID, they found his hotel access card. He had cash in his wallet, it was gone. Now, it could have fallen out, somebody could have robbed him, we don't know.
The discovery is so significant that the SQ renewed their search, focusing closely on this nearby wetland. And Kathleen began to suspect something more sinister behind her son's disappearance.
Somebody did something here. Something happened here that's criminal, and this confirmed it for me.
We all phoned his phone.
Constant.
It would ring and then it would go to voicemail.
There are so many loose ends to Liam's story, so many unanswered questions, including, crucially, what happened to his phone.
He used it throughout the night, like with his mom and with you.
Liam was texting all night. He even shared this video.
And then at 3:17, nothing.
And then when we ended up locating his iPad, and his sister figured out his passcode, and it could see last location, and it was right beside his hotel, right by the side. And when the SQ worked with the service provider, they worked over a couple days, and they validated that that phone was still active, battery charged, to 6:24 on the Sunday.
On Sunday, February 2nd at 6:24 p.m., Liam's iPhone pinged the tower overlooking the village one last time. So even 15 hours after Liam went missing, his phone was still in the area. There has been no activity on his social media or his bank account since. In September, the SQ shared some surveillance footage which provided a clearer picture of what happened that night. Edited together with clips Kathleen Toman uncovered, here's what they reveal. Liam appears between the two buildings. Behind him, Le Petit Caribou, the bar he just left. His phone is pressed to his ear. This is the same moment from a different angle. Walking past bar Le Central, Liam pockets his phone, and this is likely after calling his friend Kyle, who was already asleep. Picked up on yet another camera as he passes Le Central, pockets his phone, and heads to his hotel. Just as this shot ends, he's caught on another surveillance camera. And then again as he walks past Restaurant Au Wok. One last video captured from a restaurant terrace. Liam's hotel is just beyond the top of the screen, out of frame. Liam is here, behind the timestamp, speaking with people also off camera. He points and then walks decisively in that direction, which could lead to the back of his hotel. This is the last clear sighting of Liam. Who was he talking to? We finally tracked them down last summer.
On est venu du Petit Caribou par là, par ce chemin-là. Puis on a marché jusqu'au devant l'hôtel, devant les portes de l'hôtel. C'est là qu'on a rencontré Liam, qu'on a discuté avec lui.
This is Hugo Fournier, and here's Guillaume Strub, the one who'd moved to the Yukon, the one Kathleen had been searching for, hoping for leads that could help the investigation. They've come to meet us in Tremblant.
Et ce soir-là, on était à la boîte de nuit du Petit Caribou.
Déjà, il faisait très froid. Puis je me souviens, Hugo, il s'était fait voler sa veste dans la boîte de nuit. Donc on essayait d'aller lui rejoindre le plus vite possible le garage pour se réchauffer. Je n'ai pas le souvenir de lui avoir parlé, mais d'avoir rencontré quelqu'un, oui, à ce moment-là, j'ai ce souvenir-là, mais pas de lui avoir parlé.
C'est lui qui est venu vers moi, qui m'a interpellé par derrière. Et si j'ai pas de souvenir, c'est que c'était quelque chose d'anodin qu'il nous demandait. Moi, je me souviens pas qu'il ait pointé une direction ou quoi que ce soit. Je me souviens pas non plus qu'il m'ait demandé quelque chose d'urgent ou autre chose. Je sais que s'il y aurait eu une urgence à ce moment-là, que j'aurais vu qu'il aurait eu besoin d'un service, je sais qu'on serait intervenu pour rendre un service, évidemment.
Sadly, Guillaume and Hugo have no added insight into what Liam could have been looking for or why he never made it back to his hotel. They told the police as much.
When I was done working, my fiance and a few friends were there, so I decided to join them for a drink.
And this is Olivier Boivin, the man caught on camera talking with Liam at Le Petit Caribou. He's the manager of a neighboring bar.
What happens at the Petit Caribou and how did you interact with Liam there?
At some point I see him and he's coming towards us, and the girls, they are pretty, so I go see him and I'm like, hey man, like, you know, these girls, they all have boyfriends, fiance, husbands, kids, like, you know, if you're looking for girls to hook up or anything like that, that's not where you're gonna find it. He was super cool about it, like we did a fist bump and then me and him ended up just chatting at the bar.
No bad feeling.
You know, Liam is super relaxed. He's just a chill guy. You know, we did small talk. Like it's a tourist, so like you're a skier, snowboarder, that kind of stuff.
Eventually, Olivier and his friends leave, and Liam stays behind in the bar. Since learning of Liam's disappearance, Olivier says he thinks of him often and encourages his employees to wear this bracelet.
Since then, you've met Kathleen, Liam's mom, and how does that feel to see her still?
It's always a struggle. It's a mother who's going through a lot of pain.
A hurt others have known before.
My name is Heather Stuka, and I came from Beaumont, Alberta, where I live with my daughters Jordan and Juliana, my husband Scott. We're heading to Sun Peaks, British Columbia, which is a ski resort similar to Mont-Tremblant, and it's about 50 minutes from the city of Kamloops. On February 17th, 2018, my son, who was a month shy of his 21st birthday, went missing in Sun Peaks.
Coming up,
I was afraid of missing any little conversation, any little tip, something that might come in, which just opens the floodgates for people to be at their most cruel.
the toxic side of true crime.
Those people that leave comments, they might not even realize how hurtful or nasty they may be. It's almost like it's like a fun thing they look into.
We're more than 4,000 kilometers from Mont-Tremblant at the Sun Peaks ski resort in British Columbia, and the place feels strangely familiar. We're here to meet with a mother whose son disappeared in mysterious circumstances. And she has a warning for the Toman family: mysteries attract conspiracies.
So this is where Ryan worked.
Yeah, he was a tube time operator for the corporation. So his job was just to push guests down on the tubes.
Heather Stuka is Ryan Stuka's mother.
And the night he disappeared, that's February 17th.
Yeah, 2018. So he was finished work, went home, came back up here with a group of friends, and went to a couple of the bars here in the village, spent the evening, and then once they finished up, the bars closed, they went down to a party near his residence on Burfield.
Can you show me where?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ryan, almost 21, had moved out of his parents' suburban Edmonton home and had recently started working at Sun Peak Ski Resort in British Columbia. Then, on the night of February 17th, 2018,
So we won't show it on TV, but it's the house right there.
Yes, that's where it was.
Okay, so that's where Ryan was last seen.
Right, he was here for a party, and you have to imagine there was probably about 14 feet of snow. He came out, we just don't know what direction he took to get home that night, and it's the last thing that we know.
this is the neighborhood where Ryan disappeared. It was very cold that night, and the snow was deep. But the way home was short.
Any clues? They stop here.
They stop right here.
So when the snow melted, they didn't find anything?
No, we have not. We've been here for 7.5 years, and we've not been able to find any evidence or any clues.
Two young men, close in age, disappear without a trace from ski resorts on either side of the country. The similarities are disturbing, and the kind that fuel conspiracy theories. Heather Stuka knows what it feels like when personal tragedy becomes fodder for true crime.
I was afraid of missing any little conversation, any little tip, something that might come in, which just opens the floodgates for people to be at their most cruel.
Heather has spent 7 years living the same nightmare the Tomans now face. Over time, she's learned to guard against the public's so-called clues.
You start your day and you're going about your day, and then you open up this messenger, and then it's just, I want to say, a vomit of cruelty that comes from people that think they have the right to weigh in. It is, he's being held captive and harvested for his organs. He's been sex trafficked. He's this, they're always telling you the most brutal things, the most cruel things that have happened to your child.
Those close to Liam are already feeling it. His childhood friend, Shireen, has seen grim stories surface, theories of what might have happened.
The hardest one is people online treating it like it's a true crime case. It's almost like it's like a fun thing they look into. Those people that leave comments, they might not even realize how hurtful or nasty they may be.
And so that would be my one thing that I would tell families going through it, especially with the Toman family, is to stay with the facts that you know, manage your expectations, and keep up boundaries.
The Stukas eventually found comfort in the community at the heart of the tragedy. Sun Peak's residents, its business owners, and the Japanese company that owns the resort.
Sun Peaks Corporation and the municipality both have been incredible. Their compassion and empathy in dealing with us made everything so much easier when we were up here.
She never felt the resort wanted to hush Ryan's disappearance, a sharp contrast to what the Tomans experienced at Mont-Tremblant after Liam went missing. But by the end of summer, things began to change.
These are the posters. We have French and English. And then we've made some stickers in French and English.
Kathleen, Shireen, and the family are back at Mont-Tremblant handing out posters in the village. Lately, the resort has started to lend its support.
I think that they've probably come to a realization that ignoring and shutting out or just not saying anything, we're not going to disappear. You can't just shove things under the rug and expect people to just not talk about it. So I'm hoping that this means that we can work together and kind of get that communication that honestly we would have liked from the start.
In September, we requested an interview with Mont-Tremblant to discuss their response to Liam's disappearance. Tremblant initially declined, writing that they have been in regular contact with the family and cooperating with authorities from the start. After the snow melted at the end of April, the SQ combed the area once more. Nothing. Investigators still couldn't identify the white car caught on surveillance camera. Yves Delvalet was also left without answers.
And that's the area you searched with your dog?
Yeah, anything from the casino, anything from a radius of 5 kilometers from where his wallet was found, we covered. And unfortunately, with finding no clues.
When a child goes missing, it affects so much of your life.
It's hard on the whole family.
It's hard on the whole family.
It consumes you.
It consumes you.
I miss Liam more than anything in the world. I text him still a lot, just tell him what I'm doing with my day.
You feel the need to text him?
Yeah. I just like drive around some nights because it's like my brain just thinks like, hey, if you keep driving, like, it's just like I'm looking for a place to go, but like the place is just him. And it's just like a really lonely feeling not having.
Do you come here often?
I do. I sleep in here quite often. Yeah, that's what.
You sleep in his bed?
I do, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Still smells like Liam. Yeah.
Last September, an anonymous donor offered a $10,000 reward for information leading to Liam's whereabouts. Since this story first aired in November, the SQ announced that the reward had been increased to $50,000. Mont-Tremblant representatives also met with the Toman family, and they launched a new awareness campaign across the resort. The search for Liam continues.